Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. Now the focus is on algebra. Algebra is part of P3 and there are 4 subtopics of algebra. So let's look at the syllabus so we can understand it thoroughly. Now there are 4 major topics. Let me highlight them. The first one is about modulus. So let me just write over here. The first one is modulus, whether it's equation, whether it's inequality. Technically, it's about the absolute value function. The second thing, that is these 2 dots over here. This is about polynomials. Whether it's remainder factor theorem, whether it's about long division, algebraic division, we are dealing with linear or quadratic, and maybe a quartic or a cubic polynomial. So these 2 blue dots are about polynomials. Then the third thing, the green one, that is about partial fractions. And these are the 3 different cases of partial fraction plus the 4th case, which is about improper algebraic fractions. So now the first one is basically a linear case. So let me just highlight this. That is the linear case. The second one is a linear repeated. The third one is a quadratic case. And the fourth one is an improper algebraic fraction. And then you apply the process of algebraic division and then you work it out. So I'm just giving you a brief overview. And the last one, the purple dot, that is about binomial expansion. So using the expansion 1 plus x raised to power of n. So let me write over here because the name is not written as such. That is binomial expansion, and these are the 4 subtopics of algebra. Now I'll be making 4 different videos. The first video, there will be a series, and this is in relation to the midterm exam practice because this is like almost December and the examination is gonna start. So the first one is about equations and inequalities, and which kind of equations? This is known as absolute value function. So when we talk about absolute value function, it's also known as the modulus function. Now there are 3 things in modulus function. That is how I break it up. That is when we talk about with respect to inequalities, because that is the main theme. Of course there is equation, of course there is sketch, but the focus is on inequalities. So I divide it into 3 cases. The first case is x modulus lesser than a. When we break it up applying all the concept, this is what you should be looking at. X lies between negative a and positive a. And case number 2 is that when x modulus is greater than a, so there are 2 separate inequalities. X is lesser than negative a, x is greater than positive a. And what is the third case? The third case is there is modulus on both sides. And when there is modulus on both sides, what do? We square both sides. And all this knowledge is there in the detailed video lectures, that why we do this particular inequality in this format, why this is not applicable to this one, not applicable to this one. So that is not the issue over here. That is already discussed in the detailed video lessons. That is done topic by topic. Every single lecture is explained in great detail along with the PDF. The main thing that I need to focus is this, that when there is modulus on the left hand side and there is modulus on the left hand side, there is a lesser sign. That is how we open it up. And then when there is a greater sign, that is how we open it up. And then when there is modulus on both sides, we square both sides. We actually square both sides. Now let me go to this question. And first of all, this question is from the year 2020, February, variant 32, question number 1. Now, the first part, That is about sketching the graph of y is equals to x plus 2 modulus. So let me grab a grid from here and I'll place it over here. Now, what is the background knowledge? Let me draw a red box over here. So that background knowledge is this, that you should know how to draw a linear equation. That drawing, that sketching, that should be there. And the concept of modulus is positive remains positive, negative becomes positive. That means the line below x-axis, the line segment, I think that is the proper terminology, below x-axis, it gets reflected up because negative becomes positive. So that is the knowledge. So y is equals to x minus 2. If I look at this line, y, not this thing, y is equals to x minus 2. This line has a positive slope. This has a negative y-intercept. When x is 0, y is negative 2. When y is 0, x minus 2 equals to 0, x is 2. So let me draw this line over here, the blue line that goes like this. And let me make it a bit thinner, that's too thick. And the line goes like this. So now this point is 2, 0. This point is 0, negative 2. Now what will we do? We will reflect this portion. That will be going like this. So this will be reflected up. And let me just take this line and then extend it a little bit like this. So there is no limitation as such, except for the fact that this was 2 units down, so it goes 2 units up. So 0 minus 2, this thing, 0 minus 2, actually becomes 0 and 2. And this point over here, this is known as the vertex because it's a V-shaped graph. So when we are dealing with a V-shaped graph, this point over here, this is known as the vertex. It's not a turning point as such, we call it a vertex. So that is the thing that you need to do. Now, yes, sometimes they give very little mark for something which is very elaborate, or sometimes it's very, very difficult and they give very little mark. So expect the unexpected. Now let's move to the next one. Now part B, some people, they prefer to do this thing using the sketch because this portion right over here is right over here. So method 1 is that some people, they would prefer it using a sketch, but I'm not one of those. The reason being, I love sketches, but the problem is the students, they cannot properly draw because it's not a grid, because scaling issues come in, because the sloping issues come in. Now if I'm drawing y is equals to 1x versus y is equals to 3x, the steepness, that causes a problem and that causes a change in the answer. So this is an issue for a lot of students, so therefore I'm not going into that. Let me solve it using method number 2. And what exactly is method number 2? Method number 2 is what was outlined at the beginning. Which case is that? There is modulus on one side. If it's lesser, I'll open it up like this. If it's greater, I'll open it up like this. So which case is this? This is modulus on the left hand side and there is a lesser sign. So therefore, let me just remove this and let me write over here that is x minus 2 modulus is less than 3x minus 4. Let me use a bracket. So therefore, let me just change the color because now I'll be highlighting it. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and change the color. So I'll write this thing as x minus 2, no, not the blue one. X minus 2 lies between positive 3x minus 4 and negative of 3x minus 4. Now, there are two things that I need to resolve. So let me shade this reddish thing, that is like this, and let me shade this bluish thing. So let me solve this bluish on the left and this reddish on the right, and let's see how things goes. So negative 3x positive 4 is lesser than x minus 2. And this is x minus 2 is lesser than 3x minus 4. So all I have done is to open this up with the negative sign, and this is what I get. It's always a good idea to double check. Never ever be overconfident. Now x minus 3x negative 2x is lesser than negative 4 plus 2, which is negative 2. Since the coefficient of variable is negative, the inequality flips, and therefore I get x is greater than positive 1. That is one answer, one inequality that I'm getting. Over here, negative 3x, negative x, which is negative 4x, is lesser than negative 2, negative 4, which is negative 6. Again, the coefficient of x is negative, inequality will flip. Therefore, x is greater than positive 3 over 2. 6 over 4 is 3 over 2. Now the rule is, when both inequalities are in the same direction, this is greater, we have to apply the true, false test. And how it's done, just have a good look at it. What I'll do is that I'll draw a line, a number line, like this. And one value is positive 1, the other value is 3 over 2. Let me write 1 over here. Let me write 3 over 2 over here. And now the inequality, the blue inequality, let me highlight this. So the blue inequality is x is greater than 3 over 2. And the red inequality is x is greater than 1. So therefore x is greater than 1, it's going like this. And this is the blue inequality, it's going like this. So that's the line, that is the line, just a circle, just a circle. So a circle is over here, a circle is over here, and the arrowheads are moving in the same direction. Now I'm not sure whether to take the union of these two sets. Union, I'm using the terminology from set notation. Or I take the common region, which is the intersection. INT, intersection, union is the U. So now what we do is that, let me choose a value from over here. Let me choose 1.25, which can be written as 5 over 4. So 1/1/4, that is 5 over 4, that is one value I've chosen. And let me choose another value from here, which is 2. Now let me write x is 5 over 4, x is 2. Let me write the original inequality, which is x minus 2 modulus is lesser than 3x minus 4. X minus 2 modulus is lesser than 3x minus 4. Now if I put it in this region, so now if I put in 5 over 4, what happens? This is 5 over 4 minus 2 modulus. Is it actually lesser than 3 into 5 over 4 minus 4? 5 over 4 minus 4, that is negative 3 over 4 modulus. And this is lesser than 15 over 4 minus 16 over 4. That is negative 1/4. This is 3/4 positive is lesser than negative 1/4. I'll come back to it in a short while. Over here, if I plug in 2, so 2 minus 2 modulus, which is modulus of 0, which is 0. Is it lesser than 3 into 2 minus 4, which is 6 minus 4, which is 2 is 0 lesser than 2. So now the thing is, this is false. How can a positive number be lesser than a negative number? This thing is false. And over here, let me not use a red marker, let me just use a green one. So this is false. And over here, 0 is less than 2. Yes, this is true. Now this 2 over here, it represents this region. So this inequality is true. But over here, 5 over 4 represents this region. This is false. So what exactly is happening? It's basically saying that 2 is a representative of this inequality. This inequality is true. This part is false. So discard this part. This is already common. Therefore, the final answer is x is greater than, final answer based upon this, x is greater than 3/2. Of course, this is not explained in this manner in the mark scheme. So mark scheme is not for understanding the concept. Mark scheme is for checking the answer. Make a recognizable sketch. They have not even bothered to draw a sketch. And there are two ways of doing this. Find the x coordinate of intersection, obtain this final answer. So this is basically based upon the sketch. So this is based upon sketch. But the question is how? Not explained. Alternative method, that is this, and then obtain the critical value. How are you getting this final answer? Solve this quadratic inequality? Not correct, because you need an extra answer which might not exist in reality. For this, you need the help of a teacher who will explain it in great detail, and that is exactly what I did after doing this particular explanation. So I hope it's all clear. Let's move on to this question. Now this question is about June 2022, variant 33, question number 1. It says find in terms of A, because A is a positive constant, the set of values of x, that is the inequality, satisfying this inequality. So now over here, this is case number 3. So over here, let me write this as case number 3. That is mod on both sides. And what is the solution? That is square both sides. So now if you square both sides, how will you do it? This is 2 bracket 3x plus a, the whole thing square. Remove the modulus because you're squaring it. Positive remains positive, negative becomes positive. That's the beauty of squaring. It's lesser than 2x plus 3a, the whole thing square. So now let me square it. This is 4. This is 3x plus a whole square, which is 9x square plus 6ax plus a square. And this is lesser than 4x square, and 6 plus 6 is 12ax plus 9a square. Always a good idea to double check. Never ever be overconfident. So this is 3x whole square is this, a square is a square, and this is 2ab, 2 into 3x into a, that is this. This thing square, 2 into 3, that is 12ax. Go very easy, step by step, there is no hurry. 4 into 9 is 36x square, this is 24ax, this is 4a square, lesser than 4x square plus 12ax plus 9a square. And let me just do the correction over here. Now look at the markers that I'm using. So the red and the red, that's together. The blue and the blue, that's together. The green and the green, that's together. So first do it visually before writing it down. 36 minus 4. 24 minus 12, 4 minus 9. So I'm writing it down. 36 minus 4 is 32x square. 24 minus 12, that is 12ax. 4 minus 9 is minus 5a square, is less than 0. Now I should focus on 32 multiplying with negative 5. So I'll take care of the negative sign in a short while. 32 into 5 is 160. 160 is 10 into 16. 160 is 20 into 8. I think this is the relevant one because I need 12a and I need a positive one. So therefore I should write 32x square, and this is minus 8ax plus 20ax minus 5a square is less than 0. And now let's focus on this. So let's take common. Therefore, what do we have? We have 8 x 4x minus a, and this is 5a 4x minus a is less than 0. 4x minus a, this is 8x plus 5 is less than 0. Whenever you have a quadratic inequality, what is a must? Factorization is a must. That's already done. What is the next step? Then a sketch is a must. So we will look and answer. Remember my words, look and answer. So let me draw a number line over here, just an x-axis, not a number line as such. And let me draw this thing that's right over here. So let me choose a color which is dark. And I'm choosing from this one. Okay, I think this is the next one. I've added this. So now I'm choosing this color, and that's how the inequality is done. So now the smaller value, the roots, what are the roots? So 4x minus a equals to 0, x is 1/4 a. And 8x plus 5 is equal to 0, therefore x is negative 5 over 8, a. And I think I forgot the a, that is a 5a, and that is a 5a, and that's a. Now, why do you think they have written that a is positive? Because if they would have not written it, then we were unsure which is the bigger value, because this negative into a will actually make it bigger value. So if a is positive, just focus on the coefficient. So minus 5 over 8 is smaller. That is minus 5 over 8a. And this is positive 1/4 a. And we are looking at this thing that is less than 0. That is below the x-axis. So we are focusing on this region. Therefore, the final answer is x lies between negative 5 over 8a and positive 1/4 a. And that's how this question is solved. Again, the mark scheme is there for you. And things are done in a weird way. So let me just focus on this. That is state final answer. Let me just write over here, state final answer. And that is all good, all perfect. That needs to be checked. And that completes video number 1. So this is algebra review. But in this particular review, I have focused on modulus function, whether it's about a sketch, whether it's about an inequality. Stay tuned for more content on Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub.